Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Real Reviews by Loukprop, and today we'll be talking about one of the most requested projects in the past few weeks, which is the LakeGarden Residences. A lot of people have been asking me about what I think about this project. Now this project has already launched and the sales rate of the launch hasn't been that great. So here today we're going to unpack on why that is the case and what do I really think about this project. Let's get to it. Now before we go on, as usual, these are the 5 factors that we use. Now let's get into it. Now first up, we'll talk about location and accessibility. If you are looking at LakeGarden Residences, it's actually this project here, took over Lakeside Apartments. It's right next to the beautiful Jurong Lake Gardens here. And as we all know, Jurong Lake Gardens is undergoing a major transformation, which we'll talk about later on, but more into the location itself of accessibility. The nearest MRT you can see is at Lakeside here. Right, Lakeside MRT. If you walk through the gardens, you'll get to Chinese Garden MRT as well. But obviously the nearest MRT station is actually at Lakeside. But when we say nearest MRT, we're using it a little bit loosely because it's actually a 14 to 15 minutes walk away from LakeGarden Residences. And if you are too tired to walk, it's about 3 bus stops away to Lakeside MRT station. Now from Lakeside, it is 1 MRT station down to Boon Lay MRT station where you can find Jurong Point and also an interchange to the future Jurong Region line. And Jurong Region line, as we all know, is actually one of the lines in the west side that's going to be serving a lot of different areas of Jurong side, the west side, including linking up places like NTU, the industrial estates, so on and so forth, right? So people that are staying in Choa Chu Kang, Bukit Batok, Lakeside, Jurong East area will all be linked by this Jurong Region line. Now 2 stations down from Lakeside, you'll find Jurong East MRT, where you can find various malls like Westgate, GEM, IMM to name a few, and it's actually one of the interchange to not only the Jurong Region line, but as well as the North-South line, which is one of the oldest lines in Singapore. So whether you're going up all the way to the north or you're going up all the way to the east, you have a line that is just 2 MRT stops away, an interchange that is just 2 MRT stops away. But if you ask me honestly, yes, you are well connected to 3 different MRT lines, but the walk from LakeGarden Residences to Lakeside may be a bit of a deterrence for people, especially since there are quite a few projects around Lakeside MRT. Some are pretty new, like Lake Grand, all right? And in the immediate region of LakeGarden Residences, there aren't many amenities. Probably the closest that you are talking about would be Taman Jurong Shopping Centre, and there's actually a market and food centre here as well. But other than that, any other amenities that you want to enjoy would have to be inside Jurong Lake Gardens. Food-wise, you have to travel out to get food, to get shopping done. But recreation-wise, you are well covered around this Jurong Lake Gardens area. Now, in terms of school, within 1 kilometer distance away from LakeGarden Residences is Lakeside Primary. So this is the only primary school within 1 kilometer distance away. So if you are really talking about the area itself, it's not exactly the most accessible. The most redeeming factor of this project and its locality would be, like I mentioned earlier on, Jurong Lake Gardens, because there's actually a huge transformation going on here in the Jurong Lake District. So let's elaborate a little bit about the Jurong Lake District transformation. In the far future, they'll be actually expanding even more into the industrial area and also an opportunity for companies to actually create brand new campuses and scale up easily in terms of their offices in this area. It is our next largest business district. It's the largest CBD area that's decentralized, and the area around Jurong East MRT will comprise of more jobs. It will introduce 100,000 more jobs into the area, and there will be a new transport hub in Jurong East area. We also have the new perennial business city around here. And as mentioned earlier on, by 2040 or 2050, Jurong Lake District will introduce another 100,000 more jobs and 20,000 new homes. So it will make it an even more bustling city in Singapore. So what a lot of people don't know about Jurong Lake District transformation is also that not only are we going to build up the nature around Jurong Lake District by including more parks and greeneries, a 70-hectare lake with more than 10 kilometers of active waterfront. So you'll get more recreational activities there, you'll get more entertainment activities there, but also they're actually introducing more tourism spots as well, which is the reason why, as you can see here, they're actually revamping the new science center, which will complete by 2027. They are rejuvenating the entire Chinese and Japanese gardens as well, which will be completed by next year. And future tourism development, including hotels, retails, will line the entire waterfront also. So in summary, considering the fact that the area immediately around LakeGarden Residences is not exactly the most accessible, there's not much shopping and dining options in the immediate area as well. The nearest one will be Taman Jurong Shopping Centre, but the entire district is going to transform and in so doing create more value in the properties surrounding Jurong Lake District. It brings up the value of the score. I'm going to give a little bit. So the total score we're going to give for location and accessibility is 3/5. Next up, we have development quality and facilities. Now, LakeGarden Residences is actually being built by Wing Tai Holdings, which if you see here, Wing Tai is one of the most reputable developers in Singapore. They actually started in Singapore in 1963, which is 60 years ago. And they really started on their property development arm in 1978 here, which is 45 years ago. So they have a lot of history in Singapore in relation to property development here. If you look at their concourse band, Wing Tai as a developer is a band 2. Just a reminder that bands are from 1 through 6, worst one being not banded. So being a band 2 is actually not bad. You can see the projects that they have built, right, include Garden Residences, Crest, Tembusu, and the M. The M is going to TOP soon, so yet to be assessed, but Garden Residences actually achieved Band 1. So the most recent project that they have done is actually a pretty good quality development. Now this development has a total of 2 blocks, each has 19 stories high. For car parks, it is 1-to-1, there's a total of 306 units, so there's a total of 306 car park lots as well. It's a basement car park, basement 1 and 2, and there is actually a 1-year free shuttle bus service to the MRT station. Like I told you earlier on, it's not exactly the closest to MRT station, so they are providing this 1-year free shuttle service. After that, it's up to the residents whether they want to vote in another year of shuttle bus service or not. Now, if you were to talk about the facilities, it is considered a full facility condominium. 50-meter lap pool over here, you can see here. They have a tennis court here, they have a clubhouse here with the gym. BBQ pits are actually scattered throughout the development with some playgrounds, tree decks, pavilions. They even have a glamping pavilion, a few glamping pavilions so that you can actually borrow glamping materials and equipment from the management office to do your glamping inside the development. Now at first look, when I first saw this, I was thinking this is really not very impressive. It's a pretty standard facilities for condominium, but after looking at it for a while more, I understood what they're doing. The way that they have designed their facilities is to make sure that they maximize the view towards the Jurong Lake Gardens. Now this development is right next to Jurong Lake Gardens, so if you are buying a unit here, there is a 75% chance that you're going to be buying a unit that faces the entire Jurong Lake Garden. So in terms of their facilities, they're doing it the same way. For example, okay, so if you see here, there's this Stardust pool. It's a 50-meter lap pool that overlooks Jurong Lake Gardens. So they are actually intending to integrate facilities into Jurong Lake Gardens to make it seem like Jurong Lake Gardens is also part of their facilities. Even their clubhouses here, the gyms and function rooms are actually facing Jurong Lake Gardens. They also have a side gate here, you can see, that links straight to Jurong Lake Gardens, so it's pretty accessible as well. And as I mentioned earlier on, you can see from this that actually 75% of the units in the development actually can enjoy Jurong Lake Gardens view. Now for provisions, they're actually giving quite good quality appliances. For example, Bosch appliances for all room types in terms of their fridge, washer, dryer, cooker, hood and hob. And they're also giving Hans Grohe fittings and Roca West. So we're talking about provisions by developers in the market. These are already very good brands that they are providing. So in summary, if you were to look at this project, it is a not bad developer although they are Band 2, but they have recently done a Band 1 development in the Garden Residences. 75 garden views if you were to pick a unit here, but take note, some units do have a strong east sun or morning sun, which is not too bad as long as it's not west sun, but some stacks actually get very strong west sun as well because of the placement. Standard facilities with nothing much to shout about. So if I were to give a score for development quality and facilities, it would be 3.5 over 5. Next up is competitive pricing. Now, in previous real reviews, we keep having to use land sales to determine what they are going to be launching at, or to have a good guess on what their launch prices are going to be. But LakeGarden Residences has already launched, like I mentioned to you, so we actually know what are the prices that are going on there right now. Lake Gardens is actually launching between 2,000 to 2,004 per square feet. So the difference is whether you're facing Jurong Lake Gardens directly or not. Okay. Now, having knowledge of the prices being between 2,000 and 2,004, we now have to find competitors in the area. Now, Lakeside Towers and Parkview Mansions, they don't have any transactions within the last year. Even if you were to search for the last 2 years, there's only maybe 1 or 2. But in any case, these are very old condos which you can't really compare with. Now, really the only one that you can compare with that's the newest is Lake Life. This used to be an EC. And Lake Life has actually transacted at about 1,001 to 1,004 per square feet, right? 1,001 to 1,004 per square feet. So Lake Life TOP in 2016 achieved MOP in 2021. And right now, transacting, as mentioned, between 1,001 to 1,004 per square feet. Now, looking at LakeGarden Residences, it's probably going to be TOPing around 2027 or earliest 2026. So there will be a 10 to 11 year difference between the two projects. However, if we are looking at the prices alone, there will be a 900 to 1,000 per square foot difference in price. And in my opinion, that seems a little bit too steep. And if you were to compare closer to MRT station, we can see that along Lakeside, right, there are a bunch of properties there as well. But let's take a look at the newest ones there. Recently built in 2017 is Lakeville. There's also Lake Grand that was built in 2019. So for Lakeville, we can see that the pricing is about 1,006 to 1,007 per square feet. Some may go up to 1,008. And if you're looking at Lake Grand, we are looking at 1,006 to 1,008 plus per square feet, may even approach 1,009. So usually for a project with a 7 to 10 year difference, I would say 400 to 700 per square feet of price difference does sound pretty fair. But now we have to look back into their location as well. Lake Grand and Lakeville are both very near to Lakeside MRT. So if you compare the pros and the cons between the project, we now can't really say that Lake Gardens is a very fair price because it is very far away from MRT, plus has a 400 to 700 per square feet price difference. So comparatively, I think that LakeGarden Residences prices are a little bit too steep for my liking. So if I were to give a score for LakeGarden Residences, it would be 2.5 over 5. Next up, rental yield. Now, in order to be a fair comparison, we are using two projects here. Lake Life, because of the location, is very near to LakeGarden Residences, and also Lake Grand because it's the newest one over there. Now, let's first take a look at Lake Life. If you are looking at their two bedders here, transaction is between 3,006 to 4,000. All right, and if you take a look at Lake Grand, it's actually 4,000 to 4,006. Right? So if you're looking at the kind of rental that we are getting, right, for Lake Life, if you're looking at LakeGarden Residences, it's newer, so definitely it deserves a higher rental than Lake Life. And if you were to compare to Lake Grand, yes, it's newer than Lake Grand, but location is not as good. So plus and minus, I think we can use Lake Grand's transaction level to determine how much Lake Gardens can rent in the future as well. So if you want to be a little bit more conservative, we can use 3,008 to 4,006 in terms of our assessment of their rentability and the rental price. So if we are looking at Lake Gardens two bedders ranging from 1.25 million to 1.9 million, rental yield should be about 2.9 to 3.6%, which is not bad and would give it a pretty good score. But if we are looking at the rental volume for these two projects, while Lake Grand, Lakeville, Lakefront Residences as you can see here, has been getting triple-digit rental volume as high as 254 rental volumes within a single year, Lake Life, on the other hand, has only transacted 40 in a single year. So it loses by a lot in terms of rentability because most people will want to be living nearer to the MRT station. It's more accessible as well. And Lake Gardens happens to be in between these two projects. So I would compare it a little more to Lake Life because of the walking distance to MRT. And if rental volume is like Lake Life, I'm going to have to discount the score a little bit for rental yield. So my final score will be 3/5. Lastly, we have stack selection. Now, as usual, we are basing off of these factors. Now, when we're assessing stack selection here, it's actually pretty simple because LakeGarden Residences only has two major facing. One is the garden facing and one is the non-garden facing. So mainly we are looking at whether they have west sun or not. And because 75% of the project has good garden views, these are my ideal stacks and not so ideal stacks. So final score for stack selection is 4/5. So after gathering the various scores from the various factors, we have an overall score of 3.2/5. So for people who are considering buying LakeGarden Residences, I think it will be better as an own stay option rather than a full investment option. And we hope that today's review has given you a better understanding of LakeGarden Residences and helping you to decide whether you should buy this project or not. What other projects do you want us to review? Leave it down in the comment section below. As usual, please remember to like the video, share the video, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel if you find our reviews helpful. We'll see you in the next real review. Bye!